Victor Osimhen only went there on loan. He wasn't signed permanently.
Why didn't any big team sign him?
Because it was the problem from his agent, and that's why when that issue happened, he sacked his agent and got new agents.
World-class players have big agents. Haaland, Isak, are they world-class strikers?
Of course, they are.
Is Osimhen on the same level with Haaland?
Yes.
Real?
Yes.
Haaland?
Yes.
Wow.
A league does not define a world-class player. A world-class player remains a world-class player as long as he contributes to the team consistently over time. Okay, we are missing out on that World Cup is because of the new coach, Eric Chell. Immediately, Eric Chell removed him after he had scored in this last match.
How many goals did he score?
He scored 1 goal.
1 goal. So he's scoring 1 goal per match.
No.
For Super Eagles. World-class player. Welcome to another edition of Honourable Football Diaries, the football podcast where banter meets bold take and no position is offside. Are you a tiki-taka fan? Park the bus, counter-attack. Do you support the English Premier League, La Liga, Nigerian Premier League, Bundesliga, Italian Serie A, French Ligue 1? We've got you covered on Honourable Football Diaries. My name is Honourable Template and I'm your host. Today, we will be talking about a footballer who grew up in an area called Olusosun in Lagos State, Nigeria. A footballer who first rose to prominence, who caught the eyes of the world in the year 2015 when he represented Nigeria under-17 side, where he scored 10 goals in 7 matches. Signed his first major European contract in the year 2015. He moved to VfL Wolfsburg in Germany. He was loaned to Charleroi, where he scored thereabout 20 goals in over 30 matches. He was then signed to Los Lille, where his performance was a bit below expectation, but miraculously, he caught the eyes of the king of Naples, Napoli, where he was signed for a record fee for any African player. He was signed for about 70 million euros. He led Napoli to winning the Italian Serie A for the very first time in a long while. He also won the highest goal scorer in that same season. He was subsequently loaned to Galatasaray, where he won the Turkish League. He also won the highest goal scorer that same season. He also won the Turkish Cup. I'm talking about no other player than Victor James Osimhen, our very own. The Italian Serie A champion, highest goal scorer, Turkish League champion, Super Cup champion, African Footballer of the Year 2023. And today's topic is simple. Is Victor Osimhen actually a world-class striker or is just an average hitman? To discuss this topic is a guy we call the analyst. Welcome to Honourable Football Diaries. It's nice to have you again on this podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to come here and to talk about somebody that I really adore and have watched for the last 10 years plus. Yes, a Nigerian favorite for that, Victor Osimhen. Someone who appeals to the wider Nigerian audience and to a global audience as well. And Victor Osimhen has done wonders. He has taken Nigeria to the global stage. We can see that Victor Osimhen is literally the most important player in the Nigerian team. And so Victor Osimhen is someone who we can look at his humble roots from Olusosun here at Ojota and his humble background, getting to the team, the under-17 team, and becoming the first player to score 10 goals, a record 10 goals at the 2017 under-17 World Cup. So we can see that Victor Osimhen is a very important personality in Nigeria and a very important footballer. Okay. So it's an honor to talk about him.
You're welcome. So is Victor Osimhen a world-class player, or do you think he's just an overrated striker or hitman?
He's not an overrated striker. We can first look, he's world class. When we say world class, the first question I asked myself when I saw the topic was, what are the metrics of world class? The metrics of world class are consistency, the football intelligence, the awards, the league titles, and the contributions to team. And the most important aspect of being a world-class player is the consistency over a number of years. And that alone sets aside a good player, an average player, and a world-class player.
In my opinion, you can see I'm wearing Super Eagles jersey.
Of course.
I don't joke with my country.
Yes.
I love Nigeria. In fact, to those who know me very well, I'm a patriot, and the first club, I don't know whether to say club, but the first team that I support when it comes to, are you a fan of which club? I say, I'm a Nigerian. I don't joke with Super Eagles. I don't miss their matches. But I don't agree that Victor Osimhen is a world-class player. Because if you are going to say someone is world-class, it's not just by scoring 30 goals, 100 goals, 50 goals. No. Yes, consistency matters. But for me, where does Victor Osimhen play? You just said Galatasaray. Big boys go to Turkish league to retire. There are certain criteria that comes to mind when you say somebody is world class. The club you play for, the league you play in, the competition you participate in, Turkish league, with due respect to the Turkish league, is not part of the first 6 leagues in the world, in no particular order. You have the Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, even the Farmers League, Ligue 1, Bundesliga, Portuguese league comes first before the Turkish league.
But the league, a league is not what determines a world-class player or not. There are world-class players even in the Portuguese league.
Okay.
Di Maria, a world-class player, just recently finished playing for Benfica.
Great.
So a league does not necessarily say a player is a world-class player. It is the player himself that can.
Let me come in.
What the player does is what can justify whether a player is world-class or not.
Okay. So let me come in. You just mentioned Di Maria.
Yes.
Di Maria came from Benfica at the age of maybe 22, 24 to Real Madrid. He is retiring in Benfica.
But Victor Osimhen only went there on loan. He wasn't signed permanently.
Why didn't any big team sign him?
Because it was the problem from his agent, and that's why when that issue happened, he sacked his agent and got new agents. So it is not
big players, world-class players have big agents. That's not an excuse.
Well, now he has better agents.
You cannot be playing.
And again, we can excuse him that he only went there on loan.
Okay, let me say something. Do you know that Chelsea did not? I don't want to use the word they could not afford, because I know Chelsea to be a big club. Chelsea refused to pay him the supposed weekly wage he wanted to take. Do you think if Osimhen was a big striker, do you think they won't pay him? Even now, he scored over 30 goals in Turkish league. Have you heard Manchester United? Have you heard Chelsea? Even rumor. It's just Chelsea fans that are clamoring, especially Nigerians. Victor Osimhen won the African Footballer of the Year in the year 2023.
Yes, just 2 years ago.
2 years ago. And you're playing in Turkish league. No, for me, Turkish league is not in, like I said, it's not in my 1 to 6. And you expect me to say you are a world-class player. You cannot be playing, you are not playing in Premier League. You are not. Okay, let me ask you a question. Right? Because I want you to have a flow. Haaland.
Yes.
Isak. Are they world-class strikers?
Of course they are.
Is Osimhen on the same level with Haaland?
Yes.
Real?
Yes.
Haaland?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. I have a question.
This is hilarious.
You've just made an argument that I want to tackle.
Okay.
You said Haaland and the like. Now, is Mourinho a world-class manager?
Of course. Anytime, any day.
The world-class managers
Anytime, any
manage in the top 5 leagues.
Okay.
Where is Mourinho managing?
Okay. Is that
where is Mourinho managing?
He's managing in Turkey.
Is this a world-class manager?
Of course.
Is he one of the best managers in the world at the moment?
He's not. He's not.
He's not one of the.
He's not.
He's not.
He's not.
But is he world-class?
Because in the last, correct me if I'm wrong, in the last 2 seasons, he has gone trophyless. He was even sacked.
Yes, from Roma.
Yes.
But is he a world-class manager?
How old is Jose Mourinho? At the peak
He's close to 60.
He's over 60.
He's over 60.
Or 60.
Yeah.
When Jose Mourinho was 30-something, when he was 40-something, when he was 50-something, where was he coaching?
He was coaching.
Osimhen is playing in Galatasaray at the peak of his career.
Okay.
That's the argument.
Now, the argument is that even for a world-class manager like Mourinho, he went to a low league like Porto. They beat Manchester United at the semi-finals of the Champions League. The same thing with Osimhen. I'm just trying to draw
Sorry. You said
similarities.
something about Jose Mourinho.
Yes, that he managed in a low league like the Portuguese league with Porto. And in 2004, he won the Champions League. Yes. Now, Osimhen has been playing in the big leagues, and with Napoli, he was there one of the important players. Of course, the Serie A is part of the big leagues, and the French Ligue 1 is part of the big leagues.
Okay.
With Napoli,
where is he now?
He has finished his loan, and he's probably going to a big now. Is with Napoli, because his contract is still with Napoli.
Do they want to keep him?
There's still an option that Conte can keep him.
Do they want to keep him?
Obviously not.
Okay.
But there's still an option that he will go if he can reject when it looked like.
If
I'm coming. I'm saying if, because if he can reject Al Hilal recently,
yes,
it had appeared that he was going to accept the proposal. But then he told him now, knowing that at this stage of his career, he still needs to get to big clubs to maintain that level of consistency. And obviously, I believe strongly that for his profile, for scoring up to 26 league goals this concluded season, and imagine going to a league for the first time. You had people like Mario Icardi, who had been there, top strikers who had been there, and he still won the league ahead of so many other people, and he scored 26 league goals, and he was the highest goal scorer and won the golden boot at the Turkish league.
Okay.
So that shows that his profile is still rising. And Victor Osimhen still has age on his side. How old is Osimhen? 26. Osimhen is just 26. And it shows that with his profile still rising, big clubs are about 7 clubs from a particular Nigerian journalist who is monitoring his transfer activity at this point in time. Said 7 clubs are currently in the running for Victor Osimhen. And out of those 7 clubs, at least 6 of them are in the top 5 leagues.
Okay, let me come in. Firstly, I'm not saying that position is wrong, whether 7 or 6 clubs are currently interested in him or are looking at signing him. But I'm not sure I've read on go.com, notable football sites, Eurosport, Sky Sport. I've not even heard Chelsea rumor. I've not heard. It's just we love Victor Osimhen as a Nigerian. I want him to come to the big club, PSG, Bayern Munich. Not imagine Al Hilal coming for a 24 player. He's not even supposed to be on the table. We're talking about somebody that just won African Footballer of the Year just 2 years.
That's again, look at it. He said Al Hilal is coming in for him. There are 2 points I have now. Oscar at his prime went to China.
He needed money.
Yes.
He needed money.
Now
He said it.
Look at John Duran. John Duran was just 21 years old. He was having a good profile at Aston Villa.
Good profile.
Yes, so he will
now.
come off the bench and he will score, and he was scoring
just this season.
Fire rocket goals.
Just this season.
And all of a sudden, a club from Saudi Arabia comes in and he goes to Saudi Arabia.
Just this season.
And he's very young. Timothy Weah played for AC Milan, which was big at that point, at that time. If somebody like Timothy Weah can win Ballon d'Or, who was the first black player, shows that anybody from
a minority, it's George Weah.
Sorry. Somebody that appears from like
which
a minority.
Which club did George Weah play for?
AC Milan. AC Milan.
Not Galatasaray.
We can argue that it was a form of a minority by race. So if other players,
I don't understand what you said. Minority by race, like they are against Osimhen.
Not
or they support
by race. Like by race, it's not a majority in that. And at that time, the Ballon d'Or was for European players. Was majorly for European players, people with European citizenship. So if it was minority in saying that it was black,
sorry, I need to come in.
Yes.
Do you know that George Weah?
Yes.
The previous season or this, how he won that award, it was like 1, 2, 3. It started with African Footballer of the Year,
yes,
European Footballer of the Year,
yes,
then the World Footballer of the Year. Do you think that if George Weah was playing for, with due respect, Burnley, honestly, you cannot be. The league matters because the competition matters. Why do you think people are touting? Prior to now, before they won the Champions League, what were they calling French League? Farmers League. Why do you think so?
Well, now,
but you even at that, you cannot compare the French League on with Turkish League. Can you name 5 big players who played, prominent players? In fact, you mentioned Mario Icardi. Do you know where Icardi started from? Icardi played for, is it Sampdoria?
Yes, Sampdoria.
Before moving to Inter Milan, yes. Before moving to PSG. He's retiring at Galatasaray. That's what I'm telling you, that big boys, underline big boys, players, they go to Turkish league to retire. They go to Saudi Arabia just for the money. Sanchez, he used to play in Tottenham. He's in Galatasaray. Morata, he has played. In fact, that one has toured the whole world. Madrid, Juventus, Chelsea, Atletico Madrid at some point, back to Madrid at some point. He's now in Galatasaray for the gram. What are you saying? Big boys are going there to collect stipends.
That is the point now. We can excuse Victor Osimhen in the sense that this was just a loan, and the loan is done.
That's why. No.
So we can no. The point is that we have to look at his. I want us to look at his progression now. For example, the stat that I have about Victor Osimhen is like this: in the last 5 seasons, from 2021 to 2022, his first season at Napoli, he scored 10 goals in all competitions. He had 3 assists. Now watch, look at the steady progression and the consistency levels. His second season, he scored 18 goals. His third season, which he won the league, for the league goals alone, he scored 26 league goals. The fourth season where they were 8th, where they finished 8th because of the bad overall position of the form of the club at that time, he still scored 15 goals in all competitions.
In the league, how many goals?
In the league, I think about 13 or so. Okay. In the league, about 13.
For a world-class player.
And now, the 5th season at Galatasaray, he scored 26 league goals, and in all, he scored 31.
In Galatasaray?
Yes.
This number 7th league in the world?
Yes, he scored 31 goals in all competitions. And if you look at it, the kind of players that come to this Turkish league are players that have played so much in England, so they are still within their quality. A league does not define a world-class player. A world-class player remains a world-class player as long as he contributes to the team consistently over time. When Victor Osimhen was in Lille, for example, LOSC Lille, in that half season that he played, because the league was cut short by COVID-19, he scored 13 league goals in just about 18 matches. He scored 13 league goals.
I don't agree that it's just 18 matches, but I don't have it off my head. It's more than that.
No, I think it was about 20 matches thereabouts.
It's more than that.
But he scored 13 league goals.
Yes, that's correct.
And so, looking at it, you will see that from there, his stock improved. It improved. That's what could make Napoli to sign him for about the total amount that they signed him for with add-ons was about 80 million. Actually.
How old is Victor Osimhen now?
26.
26.
Yes.
You know, in football, this is how we categorize.
Or 25. I think it's 25.
Let's say 24 to 26.
Yes.
If we are, but I think it's 26. I'm not sure, but I think it's 26. If we are to go by football, we have 17, in fact 15 to 17, 18. They call them hot prospects, right? Yes. In fact, to like 20, because injuries, we call them hot prospect. 21 to 23. I think they call them, that's young player. They call them young because you are no longer a hot prospect. Yes. You are matured. Yes. From 24 upward, that's the peak. Yes. But 28, 30 can be the best, especially for a striker. 28, 30. Victor Osimhen, as of today, is at the peak of his career. I'm not saying it can be better. I'm not saying it can be worse. It will be better for him by God's grace. But I'm saying as of today, it's probably better than who he was in Napoli 2 years ago. Earlier, you said John Duran was so important for Aston Villa. Yes. Or was scoring goals, was this. Yes, he was scoring goals. But I don't agree with the fact that it was so important. Do you think if it was so important, Aston Villa, why didn't they sell the other guy? This guy that was Watkins. Why didn't they sell him? Why didn't they sell him? Why was he him that they sold? You also said that he's the most important player in the Nigerian team. Yes. I disagree. We just concluded Nations Cup now. Yes. What significant role? Imagine the best player in the whole African Cup of Nations. Osimhen was the best player. What do they call it? African Footballer of the Year. Yes. Let's forget the fact that he scored just 1 goal. Yes. What significant role? The best player in that tournament was a defender.
But we can see Victor
Osimhen's style of play. His kick and follow. His kick and follow. It's beautiful that he plays.
Anytime Victor Osimhen is not in the team, we will see that there is a problem with the Nigerian team, with the way they play. When has he carried the Super Eagles on his head? That's what makes a world-class player, because the fact that everyone has to rally around him.
World-class player.
We can see that he can play in different teams.
We missed the last World Cup, 2022 FIFA World Cup.
That was not his fault. That was the fault of the goalkeeper.
Agreed. We are missing another World Cup. Osimhen,
we are missing another World Cup.
Most important player, cannot carry the team on his head, on his shoulder.
Immediately, Eric Cher removed him after he had scored in this last match.
How many goals did he score?
He scored 1 goal.
1 goal. So he's scoring 1 goal per match
No.
for Super Eagles. World class player.
It doesn't. That is not a bad statistics.
A world class player.
It is not a bad statistics.
Did you?
What? Wait.
Let me even ask you one final question before you make your point. Wait, before you make your subsequent one.
Yes.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
I asked you earlier, and it's like, and I doubt if you like Nigeria more than me. Osimhen,
Yes.
Haaland,
Yes.
Mohamed Salah,
Yes.
Isaac. In your church mind, do you think Osimhen, because these are world class strikers, these are world class players, do you think Victor Osimhen is among them?
Yes, he is.
Oh my God.
He is because he has consistently proved it.
For which club, Oga?
For Napoli, for Lille, and
Lille.
even for and for
Just
Galatasaray.
Lille.
See, I'll give you. See, this is why players can be.
You want to read paper again, statistics?
No. This is why players can be elite. If you look at clubs like Brighton now, for example, Brighton will always go to. Wait now, look at Leicester City, for example. Leicester went to Nantes at the French league, in the French League 1, and they brought out.
Wait, don't talk.
Wait, because
that's where I'm coming.
Class is permanent.
That's where I'm coming.
The class of
I
a
need to
player is
who did they sign?
talent-wise first.
Who did Leicester? Thank you for mentioning Leicester. They signed from different clubs, anyways. They brought Mahrez.
Yes.
They brought N'Golo Kante.
Yes.
Please, where did those guys end up? One went to Man City, one went to Chelsea. Where's your uncle Victor Osimhen? Galatasaray. Before Saudi Arabia League, before Chinese League, where the players retire? It's Turkey.
There was
That's where Osimhen is scoring 30 goals. If Osimhen should come to NPFL, I mean, what do they call it?
Yes.
Osimhen will score, if not 50.
It's not as easy as you make it seem. Because at the end of the day, for every league has its own complexity.
It's Osimhen.
The Turkish league that you're talking about is a complex league. We all know the troubles.
Even Lewandowski of today, you know Lewandowski is tagged as still, even at his age,
Yes.
I think he's 36.
Yes.
Ronaldo, 40.
Yes.
Do you think Osimhen is at par with these guys?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yes.
I don't know how you dey watch your
I
ball.
want to break it down for you.
It's like you are Mr. Nigeria.
Osimhen is
You are biased.
at par with Haaland. He's at par
Haaland of
with
Man City.
Isaac. Yes.
Do you know where Haaland came from?
From Leipzig to Dortmund.
At that Dortmund.
Yes.
What Osimhen is still playing today is not at Haaland.
That at the end of the the metrics.
Do you know that Haaland? Sorry, sir. You are only saying consistency.
Wait. Have you watched Victor Osimhen when he's tracking back for Nigeria? How he presses high
with the Gidigbo?
His high press
Gidigbo
shows that he's also playing a role of a defensive game as well as attacking.
My business? He's a striker and defender. Who says it? It's because he likes kick and follow.
If you check the metrics, that also makes the metrics of a world-class player.
Is by tracking back.
Yes.
I don't agree.
As a defender, even as
so Haaland that does not track back is not a world-class player.
Not really tracking back,
Isaac
but
is not a
high
world-class
press,
player.
but always conforming also to the high press.
Do you know that Arsenal fan? We need a striker right now.
Yes.
Have you?
Let
me just wait now.
Yes.
Let's leave Arteta. Let's forget that he has his preference. Do you think that Osimhen? Have you touted that? May Arsenal sign Osimhen now? Have you said it?
Yes. I was on the call with a friend.
You're not saying Sesko.
I don't want Sesko. I don't want your
not saying what
I want Osimhen. Look at the Arsenal team.
He will play in that.
Yes.
Osimhen will play in.
Yes.
Kick and follow.
And when we have counter, Osimhen is the best in the counter.
Do you think Arsenal do counter
style? Arsenal doesn't do counter.
So what are you saying?
We have occasion of counter now.
Of course.
Look at the Martinelli's goal against Real Madrid. What was it?
That's a counter attack.
So every team we have counter attack, and even with the passing game. Okay, what style of play was Spalletti playing when they won the league at Napoli? It also had more of passing. If you go and look at people like Zambo Anguissa, who was in the midfield, who was a conductor playing passes here and there at the Napoli team. And
you know the way I'm doing.
He scored what? 26 league goals.
That's Victor Osimhen.
Yes.
I'm still telling you, Haaland. Do you know that some Arsenal fans they dislike Arteta because they felt Arsenal could have easily signed Isaac anyways. If we're ready to pay that's yes, if you're ready to break the bank, let me put it like that. You know, why can't Chelsea? Why couldn't Chelsea pay him that salary last season if he was that kind of a player?
Now again, you have to go back to why.
It's because he's black.
The question of why It's not even being bland.
That's
it
being
might be
deceitful.
that coming there might destroy their wage structure.
So are you saying Chelsea cannot afford to pay Osimhen? Do you think Chelsea cannot afford to pay Osimhen 200,000?
It might be that is not just their preference.
Osimhen is just overrated. He wants to get 300,000. Nobody will pay him. Nobody.
He's not overrated.
No, even Saudi, they won't pay him 300,000 pounds.
And they were ready to pay more.
They won't pay him.
He rejected the money that was in billions in naira.
It's because he knows that once he goes to Saudi Arabia, his career is finished. At 24, 26, you want to go and play with King of Saudi.
Again.
Is he going to Arabic school?
See, a league does not justify.
Is he going to Arabic school?
See, if Osimhen can beat people like Piatek, do you know where Piatek was playing for? AC Milan and Lazio, clubs in Italy. He beat
that guy you mentioned is a world-class player.
I'm not saying he's a world-class player.
Compare him with a world-class player.
I'm going somewhere. Immobile. You know, are you telling me that Ciro Immobile is not a world-class player? Are you telling me he's not a world-class player?
He's an average player for me.
Are you telling me that Ciro Immobile is not a world-class player?
He's an average player for me. Can you compare him with Harry Kane? Let me mention my world-class strikers or footballers.
Okay. No, since we're on strikers, let's look at
what
are your own world-class strikers
and what defines them.
Yes. What defines them?
Mohamed Salah.
You have to tell us what defines them before
he's playing in English Premier League.
Okay.
And you mentioned consistency.
Yes.
Salah has been consistent for more than 5 years straight, back to back.
Yes.
I think at some point, he was even, is it third or second in Ballon d'Or?
He was third.
He has won the Champions League.
No, fourth, sorry.
He was won the Champions League. Do you know that Salah got injured against Madrid and even we knew the game was off?
But it's the same thing too with
Let me land now. Let me make my point. Harry Kane.
Yes.
You mentioned consistency.
Yes.
But for the sake of time, I think we will have to leave this for our audience. Let me just give you time to make
mention one more striker that is world class.
I've mentioned now. Haaland is there. Isak is there for me. They are far better than Osimhen. Look at what Isak is doing with Newcastle. They killed Arsenal now 3 straight games. Osimhen is in Turkey. You know Turkey is close to Saudi Arabia. Is Arabic school 26. Players go there before Saudi Arabia, before China, before even Russia at some point. Footballers, they go there to retire. That okay, these people have money now. Let's go there and cash out. That's where our own African Footballer of the Year 2020, just 2 years so, and you want me to say that is a world class player because you are scoring 30 goals. Just make your closing remark before I make mine.
Well, again, a league does not define a world class player. Class always remains permanent. And if you look at Victor Osimhen's importance in any team, in the Napoli team, where he won the league, and even the following season when they even played badly, he was the highest goal scorer for them in that season. If you look at the Nigerian team, in fact, the Nigerian team without Victor Osimhen is a terrible squad. In when we could not even qualify for the World Cup, we'll see that when things were very bad, Victor Osimhen was the one who was always rallying around the players, who was always trying to inspire the players. Victor Osimhen goes just beyond scoring goals. He inspires players. He does a lot for the team. He is a world-class player. He has proven it at least in the last 5 years. He has scored goals in double figures in the last 5 years. Okay. That alone speaks for itself. Okay. Victor Osimhen is a world-class player.
I disagree that Victor Osimhen is a world-class striker or player. The fact that you run up and down on the pitch, the fact that you track back, it does not define a world-class player for me. The competition matters for me. The players you compete with, you cannot be competing with lesser player. Okay, is Icardi, Morata, are they on par with Osimhen of today? No. So you can't be comparing with the defenders that are close to retirement with somebody that we are saying is just progressing his career. So for me, Victor Osimhen is not. Let him move to Chelsea. Let him move to Man U. Let him move to Arsenal. Let him play at Madrid, PSG. These guys are not even mentioning his name, and we are saying this is a world-class player. Should Saudi Arabia even be in the discussion? His career will just die for me, a natural death for me. So, but we will leave the discussion for our audience to share their opinion, their position on this topic, whether Victor Osimhen is actually a world-class player or not. Thank you for watching another episode of Honourable Football Diaries, the football podcast where banter meets bold take. and no position is offside. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow all our social media platforms. Thank you and stay tuned. God bless.